So my name is Chloe Jay. I'm a partner at Shenton's law firm, Shenton Solicitors and Mediators, and I work as a criminal defence solicitor and solicitor advocate. I first became interested in law when I was about 13. I did some work experience for the Crown Prosecution Service actually, and I was lucky enough to watch a whole Crown Court trial, and I just thought it was the most dramatic, exciting thing at the age of 13 that I'd ever seen, and I just thought that this is what I want to do. I want to be a part of this. So I carried on with studies, etc. And then as I got older and looked into criminal law more, I became more sort of passionate about defending people specifically, and making sure sort of vulnerable people had a voice, because there's a huge overlap in the criminal justice system with those with mental health problems, drug addiction, learning difficulties, and I really wanted to specifically represent those people. So that's why I chose this specific role within the justice system. Well, I think it's really important to have a proper gender representation, like it is in any kind of sector, but particularly in the justice system where you're dealing with vulnerable defendants, vulnerable victims, witnesses. It's important for there to be women in the professionals that they see, the judges, the lawyers, the police officers. I think it's extremely important to have men and women in those roles, to give balance. There's lots of research now to show that women on board, big board members, make the boards as a whole make better decisions because there are a gender balance, and I think that's true for sort of all kind of areas, including the justice system really. I think women have an important part to play, perhaps a different perspective to bring to things. No specific barriers to me really. I think I've never had anyone tell me I couldn't do it, and I wouldn't have listened to them if they had, so I was determined to do it. Challenges, being female and being a working mother is obviously a challenge, but I think that's true for lots of professions and for working dads as well. It's not a 9-to-5 job, it's late nights often, and so obviously that's difficult when you have a baby and a young child, but I've never sort of let that stop me, and I've really enjoyed that. Challenges wise, generally, the cuts to funding in the system, particularly legal aid, has made the job harder, and that is a real challenge. I see all the people that I work with trying to do more work in less time and under more pressure than they've ever been before in the sort of 15 years or so that I've been in this industry. So I think that brings with it a challenge, and I really hope that we're going to see a change to that in the future. Well, that's probably the same advice I give to anyone who wants to do this job. It's not for the faint-hearted. We do look at some pretty difficult material, post-mortems, images of child sex abuse. It's pretty, the worst of that the world can bring to you, really. But it's an incredibly rewarding job in other ways, and I would say that if you want to do it, then certainly not to let anyone put you off doing it. And I think we are desperately in need of lawyers for the future, young people coming through. We're not seeing new defence solicitors coming through. I don't know in our area of anyone now really below the age of 35. And when I started sort of 10, 15 years ago, there were lots of people my age, but there are very few coming through now, and it's a real problem. So I would definitely encourage people to go into the job, because we need lots of new and new young professionals, definitely. So the challenges for the justice system as a whole, I think, has to be the funding of it. That is by far the biggest strain, I think, on everything. I've seen police officers under far more strain with far bigger numbers of cases than they've ever had before. Similarly with the Crown Prosecution Service and the defence and probation as well. And I think that is becoming increasingly worrying. The strengths of the system are the people that work in it, really, because there's just nothing so engaging and human as the stories in the criminal justice system. And luckily, everyone who works in it, that most people I know are really passionate about it, and they will go that extra mile to, get justice for whichever side they're on, and whatever they feel passionately about. And I think that's what keeps the system going. And it's those strong professional people that really want to make it work, that make it the brilliant system that it is. So yes, I'm the defence representative on the local criminal justice board, and I think the board has really come into its own in the last few years. I think we've been doing some really brilliant work at bringing ideas together and understanding the different roles that we have in the different agencies and how we can work together to bring sort of more harmony and to make things more efficient, because basically we have to be ultra efficient to work under the sort of funding schemes that we're in, and I think the board has been really instrumental in kind of bringing that together and making sure that when a change comes in, for say the court service, we all understand the change before it comes, and for the defence, we don't have a central body really, so it's my job to kind of make sure that I get the word out there to all the other defence solicitors in the county, so that we can ensure that we know what's coming and they can be prepared for it, because ultimately when things change it can often lead to confusion and inefficiency if you don't know what's coming. So I think the board's been really great at doing that, and understanding what the big issues are and how we can kind of tackle those. So we keep looking at knife crime and modern slavery and all of those kind of key issues, and understanding how big the problem is or what we can all do to kind of help with it. Just keep going. You're going to get there, and it's going to be the best job in the world. Yeah, that's it.